Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Live Trading. Happy Thursday. I hope you all are doing well out there. We're going to take a look and see what we can find, and we are going to make some money today. So get your tickers ready, get your jokes ready, get your convos ready, and let's get ready to trade.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Those words have been dancing around my head all night. Oh, it's Vegas lore, that phrase.
Hello and good morning, everybody. Nice to see a whole bunch of returning faces. I hope you all are doing well out there. We out here looking to trade. So good morning, everybody. Again, it's just me at the moment. We might have to go to Plan B. We'll see. And hopefully I'll have someone joining me a little bit later. But to start off here, it's going to be just us. It's going to be up to us to find those tickers that we want to trade. Now, let me go ahead and first share Benzinga Pro. Actually, you know what? I'm going to start with Trade the Pool here today. Let's go ahead and add this to the stage, make this full screen. So, okay, I am still swinging TGTX. This thing's kind of been back and forth recently with the market figuring out what it wants to do. The one thing that I will say is that biotechs, especially like early this year, biotechs have been hot. And so I think that there might be some more movement here in TGTX. Let me go ahead and get the chart up. I've got a different ticker in there. I think there might be some more movement here in TGTX. If we take a look at the daily chart, it looks like it's doing a really good job of kind of holding this level. So I think that there's probably still some more room to run here. If we take a look at this 15-minute chart, I'd love for this to come back up and test this $18 level. That would be great. Might even generate a little bit of a pop to 20 here. So still swinging TGTX. I'll let you know if that changes. I have nothing else on, but I'm absolutely looking to trade new positions here today. So that's all I'm carrying in terms of the trading account. Let's go ahead. Easy Mike saying, Ryan, I turned you into a Zimmer. Okay, well, that's cool. I'll be honest. Our happy hour group is turning me into a Zimmer. We're talking about these shipping rates. I'm sitting here looking at it like, man, I should probably own at least a little bit of this in case those rates really go crazy. Let's go ahead and take a look at the SPY, though. We will figure out some more stuff here to trade. Now, looking at the SPY, the thing that really jumps right off the page here, let me turn on some of these other moving averages so we can have an idea of all of the different levels. Wow. We're doing all types of playing around with the producing here. With the SPY here, we came right back into this 20-day moving average, and so far we've done a good job holding it. I will say that, especially looking at some of the recent candles here, this is a decent bounce spot for the SPY. So let's see if we get that. I do see that we're a little bit lower here in the pre-market, but so far this is holding, and this could represent a tradable bounce spot. We'll see. I'm still, given the first couple of days here of the year, I still am not sure which way the market's going to go here. I still feel like we're pretty extended and we could really use a bit of a pullback. So I wouldn't be shocked if we got that. It's just kind of surprising that it's happening on the first 2 days of the year, but that's where we are. That's what we'll go ahead and watch here. So let me flip over to the movers tool and let's start generating some new ideas here for today. First one I wanted to start with here is going to be SPRC. SPRC, this did pop and trade up towards about 750, stopped at about 735. Now, there was a news here, but I'm just not sure how great this actually is. SciSpark and Clearmind Medicine reflect on a successful collaboration in 2023, aiming to upgrade a wide range of psychedelic-based, treatments. Now, here's the one thing I will say. I'm definitely a proponent of looking into like the medicinal side of both psychoactives like mushrooms and also cannabis, but I just don't know how great this PR is, and I'm not very experienced with the whole psychedelic-based treatment, so I don't know if this PR really kind of hits hard. Furthermore, when we take a look at the actual performance of the stock, we popped and dropped and we went right back to where we were at. So I'm just not sure how great of a catalyst this is, but it's worth noting that that's out there and that's likely driving this here today. Okay. Let's go over a couple of more. Yes, I will absolutely cover Lilly. Jay Harris, we will absolutely cover Lilly. That's a really good one. And there might be some more action here in that name and some of the other peers, especially over the course of this year. So we'll get to that here in a sec. Let me finish off what's on the movers, and I'll go back to a bigger chart where we can also review the news. Next one here is going to be MINM. Glad I didn't screw that one up. And you guys should all be, for guys and gals, pardon me, you guys should all be familiar with this because we've traded this recently. Now you can see here, this morning we had a nice little run up. We consolidated, we took a second leg up, and we're currently consolidating on that. We've stayed above VWAP pretty much the entire pre-market. So I want to see how this behaves when we actually have the market open and we get some volume flowing into it. I am encouraged to see a whole bunch of these red candles down here that really didn't sink the price, right? We really didn't give everything up. We pulled back. That's normal. But we didn't break down. We didn't lose the leg that we took on the way up here. We kind of just hung around there. So that's encouraging. But again, really, it's going to be important to see what happens when the market opens. When we take a look at the news here, I didn't see anything fresh. So it looks like this is just kind of moving on technicals. You guys let me know if there's something else out there that you found for this one that could be moving it. Might just be like a room pump or something, maybe a thin twit discussion. I don't know. I didn't see any great news for this one, but it is moving here. Now, the next one here is a little bit different. This is Omega Therapeutics. This, again, kind of fitting in or being related to the biotech theme that we've already discussed here. Omega Therapeutics, this popped as high as 650. Now, we've bled back all the way since then. We're just beneath the VWAP here. Let's see if we can reclaim this VWAP and then make a move higher, possibly towards 6 as well. If I click on the news here, you can see that Novo Nordisk enters into a research collaborations with Omega Therapeutics and Celerity on a novel treatment approaches for cardiometabolic diseases. Okay, so that one's pretty good. I think that PR has got a little bit more in there. The Benzinga wire goes on to say that each company in flagship pioneering medicines will receive up to $532 million. That's likely what's driving this here today. We should get a trade here. The one thing, especially now since it's kind of shown weakness, I want to see it firm up, right? I want to see it come into a support level, firm up, give us some type of tradable bottom or tradable angle, and we'll go from there. But OMGA, Omega Therapeutics, definitely on the list here for today. Next, we've got, what is this? Jeff's Brands, ticker JFBR. You can see we actually did trade up a little bit here, but we're kind of losing it. Let's see if there was news on this one. I don't see anything here, so I don't really see anything on JFBR. We'll see if that gets rolling here when the market opens. Next one here is going to be Smart for Life, or Smuffle, or whatever you call it. This thing has been on the relative volume scanner recently quite a bit. It's really kind of died off a little bit recently, but we've seen this one a whole bunch, and we're seeing it again here today. We did pop as high as 238. We came back in. We're hugging right below the VWAP, but we're not breaking down. So what I'd really like to see is a nice little move through VWAP on volume expansion. That should set us up here for a potential day trade. Next, we have RPID. This is Rapid Micro Biosystems. Great name there. Ticker RPID, RPID. We popped as high as 140. We've come all the way back, but we've done a good job not breaking beneath $1 here. We did have a PR this morning. I'm going to go ahead and read the wire because this actually gives a little bit more information. Rapid Micro Biosystems announced that Samsung Biologics has selected the Growth Direct platform to automate its microbial quality control process. Okay. I'm not necessarily sure what that means, but that is, in fact, what's driving it here. If we take a look here, again, we've really kind of come back in. If we take a look at the daily chart, not a great picture being drawn here. So I just be very careful with some of these that we're day trading here today. Don't be afraid to take your gains if you have them. That's a common theme that we've been going over. We especially want to do that here earlier into the year until we figure out exactly where traders are going. Couple more things I wanted to mention real quick here. Then we'll go ahead and take a look at Lilly, and we'll take tickers from the chat. So don't worry about that. Let's see. You guys are already throwing tickers out there. I absolutely love it. Okay. AREN here. This one, I don't really see a whole lot going on here. I know we did pop in the after hours yesterday. We kind of bled some of that back. This pre-market, we've been kind of weak. We've been under the VWAP pretty much the entire day or the entire morning here. Let's see where this goes. I guess maybe keep this on your watch. This is kind of a backup one, but there really seems to be other issues that are going to be better to trade here today. Next is going to be Peloton, and this is this Zim and Boyle are the last three that we want to go over before we go over to Eli Lilly. Now, Peloton here, this did pop about $6.05 here. We did have a PR here. TikTok and Peloton partner to drive accessibility of fitness and movement with first of its kind TikTok Fitness Peloton Hub. So I can see why this is intriguing. TikTok really seems to be popular. Maybe they get some more, juice or advertising or fans or whatever. I'm not really sure how this is going to translate to the bottom line, or if it is, or how long it's going to take. A lot of questions about this PR still. So we'll see where this goes, but this definitely reacting to this here this morning and giving us an opportunity. Now, we did talk a little bit about Zim. This thing's been an absolute monster. We've seen Zim come off the bottom here as well. Oh, no, not again. That's just on a daily chart here. Let's see if that 15-minute gives us. So here we go. This is perfect. You can actually see Zim is nearly a double from literally the middle of December 13th. We've almost doubled from there. So this is going to be tied to the shipping rates. There's a big macro event going on right now that's affecting some of this. So it's going to be headline driven. And the other thing you have to keep in mind is that this has got the juice on the way up, but it's also got the juice on the way down. So be careful with this one. Make sure that you have rules to protect yourself or some type of trading plan to protect yourself on Zim. That being said, this story's not over, and if shipping rates continue to go up, there could be a lot of runway for this stock. So let's keep that in mind as well. The other two things I really quickly wanted to mention were UNG and Boyle. This is the natural gas tradable ETFs, and the reason that this is intriguing is because we are getting a cold snap here in North America, especially in the Midwest here. It's looking to get colder. We're actually supposed to get some snow next week as well. We'll see if that materializes. The price of natural gas up this morning. 2.859 is going to be your high on natural gas. That's going to cause UNG to move. Remember, Boyle is the leveraged ETF that follows this. Be very careful if you trade natural gas. A lot of the more experienced, older traders that I've talked to dubbed this the Widowmaker. This is one of those types of things that can really, really wipe you out or really, really give you a good day. So just keep that in mind if you're going to go ahead and trade that. Okay. That was the list. We got through it. Will Peloton go bankrupt? Triple D thinks so. I want to believe it will get acquired. So I'm in the same boat as you, Market Sniper, regarding Peloton. I can see why Triple D is saying that. He's smarter than I am when it comes to trading, full disclosure. But one of the things that I will say here about Peloton is I agree with you. I want to believe that even if things are, bad for it or continue to get worse, I suspect that Peloton would get acquired instead of just bankruptcy and everything disappearing. Someone would roll that up and fold that up. Now, what does that mean for the stock price? What's good entry? What's the price? I don't know any of those things. So we'll monitor that, but I'm with you here. I'm not sure it goes to zero. I think before it reaches zero, it actually gets acquired. So, okay. Smoke Tuna, you want to take a look? Oh, we were going to take a look at Eli Lilly. Let me do that first, and then I'll roll through some of those tickers. Excuse me. All right. Eli Lilly. All right. Now, Eli Lilly. This had a monster 2023 on the backs of those semaglutide injections, better known as Ozempic. Stock just had an absolute monster year. They've got more in the portfolio, but it's clearly being driven by the weight loss drugs. One of the discussions here is this going to grow as a market in 2024? And there's a lot of thought that that's the case. If that's the case, you're talking about, 2% of the population that kind of uses these now. They think that can go to 4 or 5%. I mean, think about what that would do for sales and what that would do for the stock price. Now, there was some news here. Let's click on the Alt tab. Eli Lilly launches an end-to-end digital healthcare experience through Lilly Direct. So this is interesting. I know the first thought here, at least my first thought was, well, boy, they're just trying to sell these drugs directly to the consumer. But it turns out it's not actually like that. Like, you still need to have a doctor prescribe it. They still encourage you to work with a doctor because the dose is going to depend on how well you feel, right? If you take too much, the side effects are going to be really, really bad. If you take too little, maybe it doesn't produce the results you want. So they still encourage you to work with a doctor. You still have to, but this is designed to offer at-home delivery and perhaps better pricing on those drugs. I don't know how that's going to translate. I don't know if that's going to work. And furthermore, I'm interested in watching this, especially if these drugs get approved for weight loss. Currently, they're approved for diabetes, and weight loss is kind of a side effect, a positive side effect. We'll see if they end up getting FDA approval for weight loss. If that's the case, these stocks can all move higher. The thing about the news here today, when I first heard about this, I was kind of mixed up on it, but it does seem like this is probably going to be pretty good and should help people that need these drugs get these drugs. If there's someone out there that's more tied to the medical industry or the pharmaceutical industry, and you have some information on this, I'd love to hear that. But let me know if that helps. So let me see that Jay Harris. Okay. Let me know if that helps, Jay Harris. Okay. Let me go back here to the chart and let me roll through and I appreciate you folks being patient with me, as I'm the only one here. Like I said, I am trying to bring some help in, and I'm also still just a little update. I have no information on Mitch, so when I do have that, I will pass that along to you. But I don't have that, so in the meantime, we are going to hold the fort down. 13. I did have my coffee this morning. I don't start a day. I don't talk to other human beings prior to having coffee because I want to not come off as a bad person. Let's just leave it at that. Let's just leave it at that. Okay. Let's get back to some of these stocks here. Acon from Smoke Tuna. Let's take a look. All right. So here's your daily chart for a Clarion. Acon had a big pop yesterday. Let's zoom in and take a look and see what happened here. So yesterday, what was this? This was at the end of the day. No? Yeah, this was at the end of the day here. So this popped on volume. Did we have news on this? Let's see. Wednesday, trading halt. No, I don't see. They announced the reverse stock split. I don't know what's going on here. This looks like there are some forms here. Tuna, did you go through this? What's going on this one yet so far? We couldn't get through the trading day without live trading. Don't worry. We're always going to have something for you here. All right. So, yeah, I'm not sure. I don't necessarily want to just sit here and read this 8K. That would kind of be boring. But let me know if you have just got split. So it's just reacting to the stock split. Is that why we're seeing this move up here? Worth noting, we have seen this happen before. We've seen some of these stocks run. So maybe that's what we get here. Just kind of looking at this technically, I'd like to see this move towards 5, maybe take 5 out and go higher. We'll see if that ends up materializing. 1 for 16 split. Okay, there you go. Thanks, guys. Jonathan asking 13 if you have a show after. Jonathan, you should definitely check out the happy hour. That is a show right after the market ends. A lot of good information in there. That might kind of meet your requirement there. Christy, you want to take a look at SQQQ. Of course, that's just going to be the inverse of the Qs here. That seems to be working. If you recall, I was trying to trade this last year. If we take a look at the daily chart here, you can just see this just kind of keeps going down and down and down. It is coming up off the bottom. Really, the question is going to be, where does this stop? This trade pretty good. The couple other traders that I know that really trade these ETFs actively back and forth closed their short yesterday, thinking that maybe we take a break or we reverse here today. So that would be something to consider. If we take a look at the 15-minute chart here, you can see we've had a really decent move since the end of December. December 29th, thing was 13.23. We're about to test 15. If we get more of an accelerated sell-off today, I would imagine that this would be a really great trade here, especially if we get that in tech. I'm looking across the board here. I'm seeing tech down. And in fact, I'm seeing Apple pound the lows here 2 minutes ahead of the open. I see Amazon at lows. I guess let's check Nvidia here real quick. I don't have that. I don't have a chart dedicated to that one. So let's see. Nvidia still kind of on the lows here. So we'll see. We'll see what happens here with tech today. We did get numbers here. We got the initial jobless claims this morning, 202,000 versus the 216 estimates. So that a little weak here. We'll see. We'll see what happens. And then looking over some of the reasons why stocks are moving here real quick. ATXI, penny stock. We already talked about Omega. Calm. This is Cal-Maine Foods. Egg prices down. They reported earnings yesterday and sold off a little bit on those lower egg prices. That's Cal-Maine. I'm not sure that I'm going to necessarily trade this. Petroleum, I've actually never traded this one before. Mobileye down big here on earnings. Wow, it wasn't even that. Down $11.50 here, 28% to the downside on Mobileye. Yikes, that is a big miss. I'll have to go into that when I've got some more time to read. That actually might bleed into some other stocks. Let's keep that in mind.
What's up, Ryan?
Hey, Aaron, how's it going, man? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you as well. Today is the last day you can wish someone a Happy New Year, according to Larry David.
Okay, well, I really like Larry David a lot, so I'm going to listen to that. I'll say, Bree, that's tough for me because for a long time I have trouble adjusting to the new year. When I used to fill out school assignments, I'd be filling out the previous year till February. So this is the last day. I'm glad we were able to get paired together. Happy New Year, my friend.
Well, I found what's helpful with that is to very intentionally, like the first few days of the new year, do 2024, whatever the new year is. And that way, like you're kind of getting used to it. Cause I used to do that too, Ryan. I used to be there are times I'll still write like 2020. I'm still, 4 years behind. But with the Mobileye real quick, just to give you some more color, that the top line numbers may not have been that bad, but the company did warn a huge revenue guidance. They basically said they're expecting like 50% of the revenue they did last year. So anytime a company says, hey, we're going to make 50% less money than we did last year, or going forward, then the market's not going to like that. So bad news for Mobileye, bad news for Intel this morning as well.
Okay, and we're taking a look at Mobileye here. This is coming off the bottom, so we'll see if we get any type of bounce back trade here on Mobileye. There we go. We got that adjusted there. Thank you, producer. So anyway, interesting to watch Mobileye here. I'm kind of tempted to maybe just kind of try this out. This feels like a gamble to me, though. Feels like a gamble buying something that's been really, really schlecht. I just think that this might bounce here. Jay Wild calling SMFL. That was actually on the list here. Let's take a look at that. SMFL. This does look like this is going to try to challenge some of those highs here on SMFL. We got coming off the VWAP there. The current intraday high, 224. God, I don't necessarily want to buy that break. But, Jay, this looks really good. This looks really, really good. Bree, you have any recent banger trades that you've taken?
Let's see. Well, okay, so I've been bullish Moderna. I kind of was scooping that up around like $85-$90, so that's been looking good, but that's been more something I've been buying in my long-term portfolio.
Gotcha.
And I basically, my thought process on Moderna and why I like it. The leadership team is just amazingly strong. I really do think that's been something I've been looking more and more at, especially for my long-term positions. Because if you look over the last 20 years, the best performing companies, whether you're looking at AMD, NVIDIA, Microsoft, they all have, leaders and leadership teams that have been there for like 20 years that you don't have to question their, loyalty to the company and their mission. And Moderna's team is very, very strong. And Moderna, obviously, through the COVID crazy market, went way out of control, got way too high, but then got punished as a COVID-19 stock, right? You had all these stocks like Zoom, Pfizer, all these stocks that benefited Peloton from the pandemic. As soon as we started coming out of the pandemic, out of quarantine, those stocks got hammered. I'm not buying Moderna because of its COVID-19 vaccine. I'm buying it for everything else, because what the company was able to do with its RNA technology was really a feat of modern technology, or should I say Moderna technology, But going forward, the company is planning to use this same technology to tackle a lot of different things, whether you're talking about, HIV, cancers, etc. So it's a very speculative play, but I'm basically, saying, hey, I'm okay with making, 5% of my Roth or some small percentage of my Roth in this position, because if I'm right and this thing, hits a couple home runs on some of these things, it's going to be 10, 15, 20, 30x where it's at. And I'm talking years down the road. But right after I bought it, it started going up a bunch. I'm like already up more than 30% on this position that I want to hold long term. So that's been a good swing trade for me.
Okay. Are you going to take gains on it, or are you just going to hold the whole thing long term?
I think because it's in my Roth, I'm just gonna hold on to it for
Okay.
at least now. I mean, if it goes up another, 100% from here, I'll think about selling and maybe kind of trading a little bit, because I do. Here's the thing: is I would like to lock in some profits, but at the same time, I don't want to be looking back on myself, 5 years from now and saying, "Oh, you idiot! You had this stock and you sold it to make, a few bucks when you could have had this huge gainer." So again, that's a very speculative play. It's not something I'm like, oh, this is a sure thing home run. Like Moderna could easily fail on some of its drugs, and then next thing you know, I look like a dummy. But right now, again, I still like the long term story on it. I'm trying to go. Let me go through my Robinhood to see if I've got any other recent trades.
Yeah, and real quick, while you're doing that here, Omega, ticker OMGA, this looks like this is trying to pop here. I just took a small position here. I just want to see if we can break this high a day here real quick. Ooh, we stopped there. We're coming back in. Let's see if it has another attempt at that on OMGA. Oh, no, it's going to break down now. Okay, I took just 300 shares. I'm actually going to lower this here, see if I can add that. If this continues to break down, I was really hoping for a high a day break there, and I was trying not to buy the actual break. You see what happened? We got rejected right at that high. Let's see if Omega comes back on. Easy Mike, great shout earlier on Zim. We talked a lot about that. That's popping here today. No position. I'm not going to chase the abundance of green candles that we see here. I just want to see if I can get a pop here on OMGA.
Looks like Apple's come off its lows a little bit, of course, catching another downgrade, this one from Piper Sandler. If you're trading tech, I mean, you got to be watching what Apple's doing, because Apple's going to impact the rest of the tech market. And so I'm watching Apple here. I hope we can continue to see this off the lows, because again, if this thing slips and starts falling through different resistance levels, then boy, oh boy, could we be in trouble for big tech. And of course, that means we're in trouble for the big market. So I'm watching Apple today. I basically want to see it hold. Let's see. I'd say I just want to see it hold. Like,
sorry to interrupt. Sorry to jump in there. Just closed OMGA Omega that got the pop right through the high of day. Paying myself. Going to wait for this to set up again. Now that we've actually got some green on the screen with Omega, we might even be able to go a little bit more higher on the position size and generate a bigger trade there. But a nice little start here. The pop through the high of day worked. 1-for-1 OMGA. The chat also mentioning SMFL. I'm going to go ahead and pull that up. Bree, sorry for interrupting. Just had to get that in there.
No, you're good. All good. Anytime you have breaking things, just come in and I was just talking about Apple trading at just below 183 right now. We did hit this morning pre-market below 182. We were at 181.88. So looking at Apple, I mean, I want to see us hold really this 120 level. I'd love to see it close above 120, just above that low of the pre-market session, because that's showing you from that point there were more buyers than sellers. And of course, if the stock continues to drop below that level, and you're seeing, okay, now there are more and more sellers coming in, that begets more selling, and next thing you know, it could get ugly. And if things get ugly for Apple, that means things are going to get ugly for all of us, because Apple brings so many stocks with it, whether it's trading up or down. So if I had to pick one thing to really watch today to keep my eyes on, it'd be Apple's price range. And again, hopefully, I'm hoping it can hold here. I mean, even if you're not a huge Apple bull, I mean, this thing is now down, let's see, more than almost 6% in the last week. I mean, that's like more than $200 billion in market cap. So crazy move in Apple. let's see if we can find somewhat of a bottom here today.
Yeah, and let me actually kind of tie that together here a little bit with some of the discussion that we've had in happy hour. Really quickly, I had the Apple chart up here, MINM, which was also from the list here. We had a dip down to the VWAP. It looks like it's bouncing. No position here for me. Gonna watch this though. If this does bounce, we do have a spot here about 550, maybe a little bit higher. Now, let's go back and talk about tech. I want to show you guys something here. Let me see if I can figure. There we go. There we go. All right. So now that I've got this here, let me go over to this and share this. Okay. Okay. So this is one, and I can actually link this here in the chat for anyone that wants to play around with this tool on their own. This was something that we got from the happy hour group. We've been watching this quite a bit here. What's really cool about this is that this kind of shows you what the leaders and the laggers were in terms of sectors over the last several years. So, for example, here's 2023. You'll notice that INFT, this is information technology. That's going to be tech there. That led being plus 57.8%. Well, the interesting thing to note about this is that the prior year, it was actually the third lowest at minus 28.2%. So we've got this kind of rotation back and forth, right? Even if you just kind of look at this chart, and I like this tool because it's so easy to kind of see what's going on here. It looks like the previous sector laggards then became the leaders. Like take a look at utilities here, right? Utilities at the bottom of the list in 2021, near the top of the list in 2022, near the or at the bottom of the list in 2023. Let's see where it is in 2024. So I thought this tool was really cool. This is really kind of helping me figure out what sectors I might want to be in. You'll notice that a lot of the stuff is some of the stuff that we've been talking about recently, pretty topical. So just kind of wanted to throw that on there with our discussion here of Apple. Remember, information technology, the leading sector last year. Let's see what happens this year. Lynn and Randy throwing some other awesome information here in the chat. Per Kramer, the Magnificent Seven has lesser impact in this early 2024 market. Monies have rotated to dull big names like J&J. Well, if we take a look at some of the different, or if we take a look at the different sectors here, that might make sense. Healthcare near the bottom of the list last year. Utilities near the bottom of the list. Energy, consumer staples near the bottom of the list. So that's probably that dull money that's getting rotated into. Just something to keep in mind. Let me go back to Pro here real quick. Still watching OMGA. And actually, let me I just have to remove this. And then I do this. Oh, nope. See, I have to get AB back here. Producer, let me see.
What up? What up?
There we go. See, I need 3 different screens in order to rotate the trading platform in there. I just kind of wanted to tie that together there on your Apple trade here. Real quickly, MINM breaking now beneath the VWAP here. So it looks like we got a little bit of a bounce that ended up being a head fake. And then OMGA returning back to the VWAP. Okay. MOBX halted. Market Sniper. Oh, that one's not in Trade the Pool here. Let's see real quick. MOBX, that is resumed now, going higher here. That printed 4 and immediately pulled. Oh, here we go. Get AB getting some love early. Becca saying, yeah, my St. Louis boy, AB in the house. AB, if I gave you 25 seconds, could you run down the potential Cardinals year this year?
Our lineup's going to be hopefully pretty similar in terms of, we're still going to have Goldie, Paul Goldschmidt, Arenado. We got Jordan Walker, a stud outfielder that's like 22 years old coming in. But our pitching, which was the big problem last year, we've bolstered it with some really old guys that I don't know how I really feel about, just in terms of I don't know why we're going out and buying these 40-year-old relievers that are coming from other teams. So I'm not super bullish the Cardinals 2024, but I am hopeful that it'll be better than last year. We're not used to being, Ryan, I know you're used to it, but we're not used to being in the bottom of the NL Central standings. So we have higher standards, and the Cardinal way, I am confident will prevail again. So yeah, we'll have to. I know, Ryan, that you're coming in town for a Lions game. That's been years in the making with Luke. We gotta do a Cards Cubs game at Wrigley sometime. I've actually never been to a baseball game at Wrigley. I've been to some concerts there. I've had some great times at Wrigley, but never for an actual baseball game. So would love to do that with you.
AB, let's make that happen. Let's make a baseball game at Wrigley Field happen. We'll do it when the Cubs are playing the Cards. We can go with different. It'll be awesome. Yes. And by the way, real quickly, just to kind of add to this, Paul Goldschmidt, one of my favorite players since he came into the league, he's actually carried me to multiple fantasy championships when he was a member with the Diamondbacks. Becca knows that Goldschmidt is good and a member of the Diamondbacks. Real quickly here, just to kind of bring this back to the market, TGTX, what was I just saying this morning about wanting to hold this swing? Biotech's being real good. Boom, HOD. Thank you, Jay Rice. TGTX printing HODs here. We're still hanging on to these 200 shares. Remember, for this particular trade, we had, I think, up to 350 shares at one point. So we've been paying ourselves along the way to book some of those gains. This is the remainder that we're holding for that bigger move. I'd really, really like to see 20s out of this. We'll see if we get there. TGTX, baby. We out here rolling. I'm not going to actively trade this just because I'm holding this. I'm going to look for some smaller scalps to actually trade here. Speaking of which, OMGA might be setting up. It's really just kind of holding this VWAP. We've got wicks beneath. Remember, we saw this before, and we've seen these kind of pop. This one looks like it's dropping. Okay, so all I had to do was talk about it, AB. Just had to curse it a little bit there. And by the way, just to one of your comments, you a nice little slight there to me when you were saying that I might be used to being at the bottom of the division, but you're not used to that. Here's what I can say, AB. I can get used to the Cardinals being at the bottom of the division. That would be no problem for me. And with Craig Counsell in town now, we'll see what we can do about that this year.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's been. I mean, you guys have had a better past few years than the Cardinals have. I mean, the World Series, a more recent one. You have, so yeah. I mean,
I mean, the one World Series is only going to carry so much clout when you came off a 108-year drought. So I totally get that. Real quickly here, back to the market. MINM, vicious pop, took out all of the highs. Look at the pullback right back to the VWAP. This again showing us that buying the upside breaks not working just yet, or at least having a lower percentage chance of working. Better off buying the pullbacks. This thing just, what a move. What a crazy move. Big pop over the highs and then pull back down. Lynn saying, let's talk hockey, guys. Hey, look, there's not much to talk about. Blackhawks are really bad, but have the future of the league on their team. Fingers crossed. Around here. OMGA doing a much better job holding in here. We did get that little drop there, but it got bought right back up to the VWAP. This one I definitely want to watch. Smoke Tuna saying FWBI. Let's take a look at that one. First Wave Biosciences. This one we've traded recently. Nice. This is coming up off the VWAP here on this 3-minute chart. MACD looking pretty good here. We just don't want this to kind of turn back over. Yeah, Medina saying Goldschmidt is the man, future Hall of Famer, without a doubt. Dude does everything. 5-tool baseball player. One of my favorite that I've watched over the course. Wish he was a Cub, frankly. This is a good one, Smoke Tuna. We'll have to watch this one. See what else is moving here. SMFL, that has not recovered from its breakdown. Eli Lilly, 622 here. So that actually traded higher, dropped, and is bouncing. Eli Lilly. You ever trade any of those big cap stocks like Lilly, Bree?
Not typically, just because, for like options and stuff, they don't really, a lot of times give the same return that if you get, one of the smaller caps. That you can really get with those. So I typically don't. Well, I mean, some of the bigger caps, I mean, like the Nvidias and Apples of the world can trade, kind of like that. So I do trade those, but typically not, your AbbVies, Amgens of the world. Typically not.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. I should, because some of them have been really, really good, but I'm with you. I don't do that either. RPID, by the way, from the list, RPID from this morning, we dropped below that $1 level here. So this just been nothing but weak from the open under the VWAP. We'll see if this finds a spot to bounce, but that's back in Pennyland here. Also wanted to take a look here at Peloton again. It's like Peloton, nice little dip and rip. We'll see what it does here at the highs. Remember what we just saw about a high a day break earlier and then that nasty pullback. Let's see what Peloton does here at the highs. Worth noting that we are right at the 20-day moving average. This high right in here, this area, this is your 20-day moving average on the daily chart. So we might find some resistance there, Peloton. I agree. It sure looks like it's going for 6, but it's only 5 cents away. James, you are factually correct. You are 100% correct. Blackhawks have the best jersey in the NHL. I would go so far as to say all of sports, but maybe I'm a bit biased there. My new Blackhawks Bedard jersey is something else. Dog Pound saying the Reds are going to have to win the division for the next 10 years. Yeah, I could probably go through my entire life without seeing that. We'll see if that ends up happening here. OMGA breaking down here from the VWAP. So we'll see if this continues to break down here. We've wicked down to this level before. Let's see if we actually break this here.
What happened to the Bulls? Where are they at,
Dude,
man? No one's buying.
They are just not a good team. You know what's crazy?
I wasn't talking about that. I was talking about the stock market Bulls. So no one's buying.
Dude, we were just okay. That's a pretty fun snafu.
I also do. It's funny how the Chicago teams you do have the Bulls and the Bears.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
Yeah, you would think that'd be in New York. You'd think that'd be like Wall Street, the New York Bulls and the New York Bears. But yeah, they should have someone needs to figure that out. Are the Bulls better in bull markets? Are the Bears better in bear markets? We need to figure that out so we can maybe use that for our sports investing.
Okay, well, we'll start here real quick. The early 90s and pretty much all through the 90s, that was a really bullish time for the market. That the Bulls were the best NBA franchise in the history of the league at that time, with easily the best player that's ever played basketball on that team at that time. So maybe there's something to that. I got a trivia question for you, Aaron Bree. Can you name the only football team that actually plays in New York?
Yeah, the Buffalo Bills.
Boom. I love that. I just think it's hilarious that they're the only team that actually plays in New York. The other New York teams play in New Jersey, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah. I mean, I think, it's crazy all the different just New York. I mean, even in hockey, you think about it. You got the New Jersey Devils. You have the New York Rangers. You have the New York Islanders. It's like, how many freaking teams does New York need? But there really are that many people up there in the region that can all, support that many pro sports franchises. Chicago doesn't have. Oh, actually, they do have. They have 2 baseball teams. I was going to say it almost surprises me that Chicago doesn't have more pro sports teams than it does, but it has 2 baseball teams. So that's most cities don't have that. I guess LA, Chicago, New York are the only 3 cities I can think of that have multiple.
LA is going to be the center of the baseball universe this year coming up here. I know you can't be happy about that.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, look, the Dodgers are probably going to do what they do, and that's win 105 games and then lose in the first round of the playoffs because Kershaw's going to let up a bunch of runs. So I'm not too worried about the Dodgers.
That was cold-blooded. Nice job. I'll take that. I don't ever root for the Dodgers.
I mean, look, I doubt we have any Dodgers fans in the chat right now.
Oh, we definitely do, and we're offending all of them. Go to here to the highs. Nice job, Bex. Did you hold that from yesterday? Go to highs. JFBR halted to the upside. We'll see where this ends up opening. Jeff Brands.
Spy getting somewhat of a bounce here, coming up off the lows now in the green. If you were going to be trying to trade Spy today, I might actually look at some 0 date expiration calls that expired today. If it looks like, because I mean, anytime you have 2, 3, 4 down days in a row, you're due for a little pop, and that pop can be pretty violent sometimes. So what I'd be watching here is to see if we can take out some of these pre-market highs. So looks like the SPY ETF hit about 467, 4 70 almost on the dot this morning at like 3:40 a.m. 469.90 is the print I'm seeing. So if I can see that we start taking some of those out, then I'd be looking at maybe some zero date SPY expirations. And I'm talking lottos. I'm talking I'd probably go up like a full percent out of the break even and look for like, some super cheap contracts and just buy, $50 worth for a little fun bet. Because then if SPY does get this pop and maybe there's a lot of shorts out there that have to cover and all this stuff, then those could pay out. So that's kind of what I'm looking at right now, Ryan.
Okay, and as far as SPY goes, let me actually go back to this chart here real quick. Okay, so where we left off yesterday when it comes to SPY, we're talking about potentially trading this or using this as a barometer for where the market is going. What we were talking about here is that while this is a likely bounce spot, the one thing that we really don't want to see is we don't want to see sideways trading that's kind of hugging this purple line or this magenta line. This is the 20-day moving average that we talked about at the outset here. If we kind of hug or stay around this line, to me, it seems like we're going to get heavier and we're more likely to kind of break down. Whereas if we test this level, put this level in, and then maybe bounce a little bit, we have a higher percentage chance of actually setting new all-time highs on the SPY. So this is kind of what I'm watching. I have no active trades. I'll be honest, Bree, I'm glad that you're talking about these SPY zero DTEs. I know these are really, really popular. This has never been my game. Trading those volatile options has never been my game. I like what you were saying there about, looking at it as a lotto, not putting too much behind it, but still having exposure to a real big pop that can end up paying out even with small amounts of money.
Yeah, I can't tell you the amount of times that I've bought some contracts that, were literally 5 cents that end up like in the money on SPY that are, worth $2 by the time I sell them. And it doesn't happen often. But of course, you have these kind of moves that are outside the normal standard deviation. And a lot of times you get those moves in more bearish markets. So, it's again not something I would recommend. Like I'm not going to go tell my mom to do this, to go buy these calls with her hard-earned money. But if you were out there trying to say, hey, I want to make, a few $100 in the market, but I don't want to put that much at risk, I really do think that the zero date to expirations options are a good avenue for that. Like you said, as long as you recognize that you're basically, I don't treat it any differently than if I put $50 into a FanDuel bet, right? Because it's honestly probably way more. It's more likely than not the options expire worthless. But if you time it right, or more importantly, if you get lucky, then you can make some good money on them. So I like to dabble in them, I'll say.
Yeah, I think that's the smart way to do it, right? I'm with you there, by the way. I'm not telling mom to trade zero TTE options. That's good. Trade the Pool saying, good late morning. Gil, good morning, my man. It is better late than never, so no problem there. By the way, this is a really good cue to talk about Trade the Pool, prop firm that sponsors live trading here. Awesome tool. It's the one that you see on the screen. It's the one we've been trading with here on the screen. You can get up to $260,000 in buying power. They have a humongous pool of stocks to trade. Go check them out. This is what we're using here. If you're kind of newer to this, or you can't really get over that 25K pattern day trading rule, a prop firm might be the way to go. Do that eval account, show that you can do it, and then get rolling, and you get a percentage of those profits. So we really appreciate the sponsorship here, Gil, and we more so appreciate the fact that you interact with our community. That to me is absolutely priceless. Appreciate it, my man, and good morning.
The other thing Russ is asking in the chat, do the 0 day option count as day trades? So I use Robinhood for these types of trades, and it's, just because it's the easiest for me for these, little options trades. You have other portfolios, other places for things like my long term and stuff like that. If you buy cheap out the money and they're worthless at the end of the day, the Robinhood thing won't usually trigger their like automatic sell-off process. So I actually had that yesterday where I had some options that were, pretty worthless around 3:30 p.m., which is when Robinhood triggers their kind of automatic. So what Robinhood will do is if you have options that expire that day and they're in the money and you haven't done anything with them, it'll automatically sell them for you, which is nice because a lot of times I'm not like watching it that closely. So I don't mind it. But if they're worthless, they won't go ahead and sell them because there's nothing to really sell them for. So it won't count as a day trade unless they end up being profitable. And again, that's just on Robinhood. So they're not necessarily not profitable, just not worthless, which if mine are either usually super profitable or worthless. So for example, these SPY calls that I'm buying right now, 473 that expire today, they're trading at 4 cents. If SPY's at where it's at now or lower at 330, chances are they're not even going to sell them, and then it won't count as a day trade because there was no, trade executed. But yes, if it is trading, say, at 3 cents, just slightly lower than it is right now, then it will go ahead and sell them and trigger that. So, yeah, definitely something to consider if you have to deal with the pattern day trader restrictions, which I do deal with those as well. Yeah, mystery man, zero date DTEs tend to be all or nothing. I will say though, if you get them like these ones I'm looking at right now are 4 cents. If you get them early, and again, 473. So SPY would have to go up nearly 9/10.9% from here. But if you get them earlier in the day and then you get a little run, even if SPY looks like it's never going to touch 473, but you get a little run, a lot of times you'll see those contracts like double in price. So instead of it being a 4 cent to $2 option where you're making, 8,000% or whatever it is, a lot of times you can flip them for just a quick like 100% gain if they go from 4 cents to 6 cents to 8 cents, and then real quick you get out of them. I typically don't do that because again, I'm looking at them for like lottos. I'm not trying to just kind of double my money. I'm trying to do more, but a lot of times I will do that is I'll trim the position and take half off. Obviously, if you do that, that does count toward the count as a day trade. So yeah, I mean, I would just, if that's something you'd be interested in, I'd again start small, toy around with it, see if it's for you. A lot of people like Ryan was mentioning earlier would just rather not deal with that crazy volatility or deal with the all or nothing aspect of it. Because if you go out and you're just buying stocks and you're day trading, things, you can always set stop losses and say, hey, I'm willing to go down 10% on this stock, but no more. With the 0 day option expirations, you're really looking at like, all or nothing. So, definitely don't recommend it as like a sound trading or investing strategy. It's just something fun I like to do when I feel like it.
And I think that's the way to approach it, right? If you're going to approach one of those risky things with high potential payouts, lowering position size and thinking about it as kind of a fun bet is probably the right way to do it. It's going to be harder for you to really get yourself in trouble. Real quick here, Lynn and Randy, this is JFBR. Remember, this was into a halt, popped and went higher. Looks like it's pulling back now right beneath the VWAP. Hopefully, oops. Let me go ahead and add this here. I got it. And then producer, how do I... Well, I'll just, until I can actually share that other, here, we'll just, boom. All right. Jeff Brands, this looks like this is actually closing the gap here. This is one of the reasons why I'm always saying with some of these smaller stocks, pay yourself on the way up, even if it's just with partial of it. Lock some of those gains in so you're not sitting through a pullback here. If you think the stock's going to go higher, keep a trailer on, keep a trailer piece on and go from there. Keep a trailer piece on and go from there. Okay. It is 10 o'clock here, folks. So let's see what the market has in store for us. Taking a look around here. SPY is trying to bounce. Let's take a look at Tesla. Good call, Easy Mike. Lynn and Randy got to be excited. They're probably busy trading it here. Tesla, strong move here off the VWAP. We didn't have any news, fresh news on this, did we? This is just trading action, I'm pretty sure. Yep. Tesla files a patent for vision processing and sensor system for autonomous vehicle. Okay, there's nothing new there. Calms fears of critical material shortages, says battery production happening at a breakneck pace. Okay, so Elon Musk looks like he's defending some of the supply chain issues that might be affecting Tesla. Maybe that's driving it higher here. Here's NINM. Okay, this might be trading back up here. NINM, maybe we can reclaim the VWAP here. Oops. There we go. Still figuring this out. All right, I'm going to roll through the scanner here for a sec. No active trades right now. I will flip back to that if I do. NINM closing in on that VWAP. Let's take a look at some of this stuff here. Let me reset this chart. Let's take a look at SMFL. or smuffle, whatever you like to call it. This, remember, ever since that move to the high and this nasty pull that happened really, really fast, this thing has just been nothing but weak. We continue to move lower here. We've been unable to reclaim that VWAP. RPID, looks like that went off the screen there. RPID looks like that reclaimed the $1 mark. Let's see if there's a setup here. Did come off that low. I don't trust this yet. This doesn't look strong to me yet. Nice job, Lynn and Randy. We get Natty Storage soon. Now, how is Nat Gas doing? That was up this morning and then took a dive right at the market open here. Looks like it kind of found a bottom right around, 2.77? Yeah, 277 looks to be that bottom here on natural gas. We'll see what it does when we get those inventory numbers. I'm just rolling through the comments here, folks. Rolling through the comments. Thanks again for joining us. Smash up the like for Plan Bree getting in here and helping us out. And then, of course, smash up the like for Trade the Pool. MINM. This actually still looks... Here's your 5-minute view. Your 15-minute view. This looks like this is going to try and reclaim this VWAP here, NINM. Let's see what happens when it actually gets there, though. Starting to get some of these top wicks. It'll be interesting to see if it has enough juice to bust through. Here we go. Let's take a look at this, Jay Rice. WBA, that's, of course, Walgreens Boots Alliance. Anyone that has ever lived in the Chicago area swears by Walgreens. I guarantee it's bailed them out of a number of situations. Walgreens Boots Alliance. So, Jay, help me out. I don't follow Kramer. Jay saying WBA peak Kramer creamed since his bullish tweet pre-market. Oh, it happened today. He tweeted pre-market today. It's down 10% right after that tweet. Oh, heavens. Poor guy, man. Looks like it popped first and then rolled over. Although it does look like maybe it's found a bottom here is 2260. Russ asking about Lisa. Let's see if we have any news on that in the feed here. She might be. She likes to talk about her stock quite a bit. So that's definitely possible. Let's see if we should. CES 2024. Is that going on right now? Yep. Here we go. Santa Clara, California. Today, AMD will announce it will showcase automotive innovations at CES 2024. Guarantee you she's going to talk during this. Good call here, Russ. Calling it AMD. See, we'll see if that actually is good for the price or if it's just kind of weak. MINM, we did it. We are back at the VWAP. Okay, let me flip back over to the pool. Oh, I can't do that. That's right. We got to do this. We got to do full screen. Okay. There we go. Here is NINM. This is right at the VWAP. Let's see if we move higher here or if we stop here. Kramer said, new CEO at WBA working his magic. Okay. That's hysterical that this is what he said and the stock sold off 10%. Like, let's just get that out of the way right away. That's hysterical that happened. But what I will say here, MINM may be moving higher here. Oh, awesome. Thank you, producer. MINM may be moving higher here. Probably should have bought that VWAP. Size here at 5. We'll see if it takes it out. If it does, it probably pops higher. Oh, my God. Look at that pop. That happened fast, folks. That stopped at 520 and came back in. That happened real fast. See if it settles down here at the VWAP. I'm trying to get these thoughts out here, but the trading action is wild. This is going higher here. I should have bought that one right there. And NINM, big move here. Pay yourself if you were in on this move for sure.
How's is Peloton holding on to its gains?
Let's take a look at that. Good call.
Peloton's doing all right. Yeah, still up 9%
Yeah, it is.
this morning.
So what do you think about that? What do you think about that news print here today on Peloton? You think that that's going to be a driver, or you think
No, I
it's
don't think so. I mean, I think it's getting this short-term bounce from the TikTok news, and I think, anytime a company is right now, especially like Peloton, that's been down and beaten, if they announce a deal with a big company like or a deal with TikTok, which could get them a lot of attention, sure. But I just think Peloton's business model is like fundamentally flawed to the point where
Mhm.
why would you pay whatever it is, $50 a month, $100 a month, like subscription fee to Peloton when you could just pay that for a gym membership and have 100 stationary bikes at your disposal on top of 90 other things. And so, I don't know. I mean, the TikTok world does seem like it is very into a lot of health trends and exercising and whatnot. But I think the people that are into fitness and whatnot on TikTok are already into it and they already go to the gym and they don't need a bike at home. And so I wouldn't be buying Peloton long term because of this. Now, could it be good news for the company that it's going to have some exposure on TikTok? Sure. But that doesn't really get me excited enough to go out and buy TikTok on this news.
You would buy
Um,
Peloton.
yeah, buy Peloton on this TikTok news. I would buy TikTok stock if you could, but you can't. It's owned by ByteDance, of course, which is operated in China. I think actually you might be able to get some exposure through Tencent. I could be wrong on that. Someone fact check me in the chat, please. Which I actually haven't looked at Tencent stock in a while, but I'm sure it's not doing great when you're considering, Baba and a lot of these other Chinese names have also not been doing that well. But um, yeah, I mean, I would not be a buyer. Peloton would have to like fundamentally change its business model, I feel like, for me to start getting interested in it as a stock.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. To me, it seems like kind of a trendy thing more than anything else, right? It seems like it might get a TikTok is big on trends, and maybe it gets some type of push because of that. But I'm in agreement with you long term. I don't really think it's a needle mover. Real quick here, Omega. We just saw this in MINM. It got to the VWAP. It actually, excuse me, it tried to close the gap to the VWAP and then get above it. It did and popped. We have the same type of setup happening here in OMGA. And we have a bid under this here right at 524. They're hitting it. And it held it so far. Nope, there we go. Now we just lost it. So let's see here. We didn't quite test that level. Let me go to, let me see. Can I do this? No. Okay, if I do this, can I do, no. See, yeah, it's hard. It's hard to figure out. Let me just do this. This is much easier. So here, we didn't quite hit that. I know it looks really close, but we did not quite hit that. Let's see if we break above that and go higher here. OMGA. It is trying here. I'm actually tempted to try some here. Tempted to try some here. What does the MACD look like? Looks like those lines are curling up here. All right. No guts, no glory. Let's see. We're coming in a little bit. Coming in a little bit. Those orders are building. I'm going to try some. What the heck? Let's see. Okay, filled 300 here at 531. I actually want to see this move. I'm going to have a pretty tight stop on this one. I don't want to just give it up. See if we end up getting it here.
Boom. So this is what I was talking about with those 0 dates. I bought them for 4 cents. Now they're at 6 cents. So I'm up 33%, or no, I guess I'm up 50% on those right now. But because I put such a small position size on, I'm not going to take that 50% gain. I'm going to hold on to them for more. But that's how a lot of times I will play them. If I go bigger position sizes, now would be a time where I would trim them for half. And it does look like SPY's approaching these pre-market levels. So this would be the level to watch right now to see if we can get above 470. Then I do like holding on to these and seeing if we can continue to make new daily highs. It looks like pushing. But yeah, I mean, hey, I'm open for SPY, 475 by the end of the day.
Okay, real quick here. Here's the Omega trade. We're long a little bit. We got a very, very tight stop right under one of those buy shelves. So we'll see what happens. Looking for a VWAP reclaim and push, just like we saw here in MINM. And while we're waiting for that to materialize, got another guest here. You ready? Give me a thumbs up if you're ready. Uh-oh. All right. We're bringing him on. There's 13. How's it going, 13?
Sorry, I thought you meant me.
I did.
Okay. Yeah, I'm ready. Hi, everybody. How's it going?
It's exactly what I was talking about. Hello, 13. Thank you, Bree. You're welcome back anytime, of course. So 13, you see anything out there? I'm actually currently in an OMGA trade. Let me go ahead and do this on
Yeah,
here.
I was catching that when
see
I got
if we
back
get
here. I only had levels set up for MINM today.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens with that. I'm kind of considering when to get in with these, but Omega. I see how you're trying to play this VWAP reclaim, right?
Yeah, and that MINM did exactly that. I'm actually trying for the same thing here. We actually reclaimed the VWAP and popped, came back in. Now we've reclaimed it again. I'm hoping we get the same type of action here on OMGA. If we don't, I'll be out. We're right on that spot there. We'll see if we bounce from here. But yeah, that's basically what I'm waiting for here.
MINM has some still pretty decent volume. I mean, until that fades, it looks like there's still life in it.
No question.
That what is this, about 520 level looks like there's a lot of resistance there. I don't see any particular size. Well, there's some size there, but it looks like based on the previous price action from pre-market and regular session that the bears don't want to go beyond that level. And if we do, we come right back in.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I was taking a look at here is like this consolidation level that we tried to break out of. I don't know if you were around the computer when this happened. This was so fast. The pull was so fast in this. Like you probably had to have a sell order set in order to get filled on the upside. That's how fast it was.
Yeah.
Now that we've actually kind of held this bottom, let's see if we get another move up and clear out this consolidation area yet again.
Yeah, so I still think that one's on deck. Let's see what's going on with Omega. Omega looks like it's trying to it's back to VWAP almost.
It's trying here. It's trying. We're gonna wait this out and see. We're back in the green a little bit. Oh, there we go. Thank you, producer. We're back in the green here. What I really, really want to see is a pop. I got a little bit of size here at 38, 40, and 43. We'll see if we can get those cleared out.
How's Zim doing? I'm still in that one. Oh, that one popped and dropped. Okay.
Yep. And this was wild this morning too. This had some action. Looked like we were going to take out those pre-market highs. We did, but then just as you said, we dropped. We've talked a lot about this recently, 13. I don't think that this story is over here. I really don't.
No, I don't think so either. And now you also have the situation with the Panama Canal. I don't know if anybody's been reading it with Bitcoin tapped 44K just briefly. The situation with the Panama Canal is that there's a major drought in that area, and it is causing some problems for shipping. It's had to bottleneck the amount of ships that can traverse through the Panama Canal. It's looking like it's going to cost billions to fix, and could take a while. So that could adversely affect shipping rates and making them go higher. And it also could cause a problem with inflation because a lot of wheat and grains travel through that Panama Canal.
Yeah. We'll see how that plays out. Definitely keeping an eye on that. Really quickly here on Omega, we did take out that 540 level. 550's got some size there. We're trying to push it up. This is working here so far. We didn't get the pop and drop that we got on MINM, but that's okay.
I'd raise the stop now. I'd raise the stop now because we're really close to VWAP, and I wouldn't want to not win with this at this point.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. That's good money management.
And good morning, Becca. Thank you for the shout out.
Center this. This is definitely one of the, and actually we're gonna put this above. There we go. Now we're starting to move.
You already got some good movement off this, so I'd be hey, you know what? Let's make this positive no matter what now.
Yeah, there we go. Can't lose on it. Still want to see that 550 get taken out.
550 got the size, and then 560 after it.
Yeah, and we'll see if we can end up doing that. Hold on the close button here. Here we go. We're at it. Let's see if we take it. By the way, I know I've talked about this. I sound like a broken record. I absolutely love this ladder system. So huge shout out to Trade the Pool for including this in their platform. This is something that I took from Thinkorswim, and I have not looked back. The fact I didn't even have to learn how to use it here. I already knew because it operates so well. And you pretty much get all of the information that you want here. Being able to adjust your orders. Oh, it's great. Okay.
I use it too. It's a great tool.
Stopped out here, so we're able to gain some. We'll still watch this though, because a move through 550 sets up again here.
And now that those sizes are even bigger, so they really don't want that going higher, which kind of makes it juicy. Look at that. Back under VWAP, you made a profit, and you can reload if you want to. That's awesome. 2 for 2 here. They're 2 for 2. They're small, but like you said, I mean, here's the thing. Like I know the show's only on for 2 hours here in the morning, but the trading day is much longer than that. And the reality is that if you can try and build some of these smaller trades and stack them on top of each other, you can have one good sized trade every single day. And this is exactly what I'm trying to do. I will not be done with Omega here. We've already made 2 trades on it. Both of them have been good. Don't want to overstay my welcome here. Don't want to get myself behind the 8 ball or put myself in a bad position. So, and as we saw from yesterday, those 2 that I was on pretty much all morning, Nexi and ABVC, those consolidated throughout the day, and they had random pops. Like they absolutely, especially Nexi, that one blew off the top, and it went to 10 and beyond. I was looking for 10. It went to almost 11.
The sheer joy in your voice when you were texting me about that was magnificent. So I'll take that.
I'm always happy when things work out the way I was hoping they would.
and I like what you were saying yesterday. Technical analysis. It's cool how it works. So you can just kind of draw lines from years ago that all of a sudden the price goes right there. It's just awesome stuff.
Gotta love those algos looking at the same thing we're looking at. Hi, Lyndon Williams. How's it going?
Anyone else out there? You guys got anything? Will was asking earlier. Will, I'm sorry I missed this a little bit earlier. We were having some fun. BKYI. This is Broker International. This is trading up here. I don't know anything about this. A little bit of volume. Looks thin here.
Okay. Keep your eyes on Omega. There could be another attempt to go over this VWAP.
Looks like they brought in some size to support it here at 529, 530.
I don't know if that'll be enough, but I see that.
I don't either. Yeah.
I'm looking for some moving averages to cross here, and maybe we'll get it. Oh no, it's not gonna. There's a fight here, and I love it too, because that means there's a lot of volume.
You know what else? 13. I'm glad when the fight's going on that I'm out and just kind of watching it. Right, already booked gains on this. Don't need to participate in any type of street fight here.
Let the bears and bulls go at it with each other. It'll just be animal. It'll be Animal Planet for us,
Bree was saying earlier, it's hilarious how Chicago has a sports team that's the Bulls and a sports team that's the Bears. You'd think that would be New York.
Hey, thanks, Nick. I appreciate that.
A lot of love in our community. It's why we're the best one out there, dude. Jonathan Cooper, MTC. Looks like Omega not quite ready yet. It's not breaking down those. Let's not give up on it.
Is that which one is I typed in MTC and I'm getting several here. Which is that just MTC?
Just ticker MTC. That looks like it's
okay. There we go.
MTech, yeah. MTech, yeah.
Looks like we had a pop, and now we're just kind of.
Yeah, the encouraging thing here is we took out yesterday's intraday high. Now we came right back beneath it, but we're still holding that level here. Got a little bit of size at 210. Monica, this is a really good question. Let's talk about this briefly here. We got some time. 13, interrupt me if you have a trade or a setup like you just did.
You got it.
Real quickly, do you guys ever trade fib levels? Fibonacci is what she means there. If so, when? Thanks. Monica, great question. Let me address that here real quick. Yes, I do use fib levels, but I like to use them on longer time frame setups. So for example, let's take the SPY here real quick. This would be a perfect ticker to do some type of Fibonacci retracement on. What I want to do is after a stock makes a move, it could be down or up, but makes like a really strong move like the SPY did here from October 27th to the highs here at what day was that? December 28th. Anytime you have a big move on this, I want to figure out what some of these retracement levels are, because what I'd like to see is the equity or the stock come back into that level, find some support there, confirm to me that has bottomed, at least in the near term, and then try a long side play there. So what I would do in this situation, if I was going to use a Fibonacci here, is I would use the Fibonacci retracement tool. Of course, that's in all brokers and trade the pool. It's in Benzinga Pro. And I would mark from the bottom of the move to the top of the move. You get this nice colorful grid, and these levels here correspond to different points. Now, I want to draw your attention to something that's really, really cool. We just talked about how cool technical analysis is. Check this out. Look at where some of these levels line up. Okay, the 20-day SMA, there was really no level in there. We'll skip over that one. But look at the 50-day moving average. That is pretty much right at the 0.382 retracement on this. Is that a coincidence? I don't know. Let's take a look at another one here. The 100-day moving average, just a little bit above. In fact, what do we have? 444.64. The 0.5 Fibonacci retracement level, 443.77, so less than $1 away. The 200-day comes up to the 0.618, which is sometimes referred to as the golden ratio. So when you're using a Fibonacci retracement, I don't like to necessarily use these on intraday setups, although I know that you can, and I know other traders that use them. But for me, this is a really good way of determining what is a tradable level for in a longer term trade, whether it be a swing or an investment. And I would use this over and over again when you see some of these strong moves like we saw here. Monica, let me know if this was helpful at all. 13, if you have anything that you want to add to Fibonacci retracements, please do so.
Yeah, I have noticed that when I've tried to use Fibonacci for day trading, that it's a little bit more cumbersome because I find myself putting the 100% level, the top level, every time it makes a new high. And the retracement actually works really well when you do that. It's just I don't want to keep having to readjust my fib. But what Ryan was saying about longer term timeframes, absolutely awesome tool. I definitely will use that.
Check this out, 13. OMG, here we go. OMGA going. So we found a little. So this is, oh my God, look at this pop. This is the move I'd like to be in. By the way, some size here at 6. That is your high. They're testing it. And they sold it off.
I need to look left with this one. I need to look left at this one to see how I go.
And we'll do that here. I'm going to bring this chart up, but I want to drill home one of these points here that you can see very, very clearly on this trade the pool chart here. So we traded this close back to the VWAP. When it got to the VWAP, notice that I didn't sell this until the second candle here, right? Because when we were trading up here, this was the move that I thought might show up right away. We didn't get that. I took my gains, or I took the trade off. We booked gains in there, and then we kind of waited this out. Now the stock went back and forth, totally normal here. Eventually, we cleared this out. Look at the volume that expanded here on this candle. Bang, this moving to newer highs. If I was not looking at something else or explaining fibs and I had this up, I'm probably going to try to trade that pop again. You can actually see that volume flow in via the time and sales here. So this is exactly what we were waiting for, 13. We got it literally as we were talking about something else. This is not done yet.
It does not look that way. I'm just kind of setting levels here based on previous price action we've had over the months and years. Maybe we test these levels again. Because the thing is that you know, a lot of these people that bought up here, they're either going to sell at a loss or they're still holding it and they want to get out. So you're going to see a lot of selling if you get into these big consolidation supply areas. And
if you can work through those sellers, then the stock can actually go higher. Yep, absolutely. Right. Great, Monica. Glad that that was helpful for you. Awesome stuff.
Well, I don't know that this is going to go back to 10, but I see that that's one of the most recent highs that we had, 10, 980, so we'll call it 10, and then 1198, so we'll call it 12. So those are some, you know, levels that could potentially get hit if we go higher, but we need to get through some of this other supply here that we have between 640, 650, and 940.
Some big size brought in here at 580.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
Yeah.
And that's why you don't want to be in it now.
No, and this is also why selling into some of these pops, even if it's only with partial position here, is going to be really, really helpful for you. Pay yourself on the way up when you have some of these moves. That way it's going to be harder to get behind the 8 ball again. And let's talk about that stop that you were talking about, 13. The, you know, in hindsight here, if we look at that, the stop doesn't look all that great, right? Stopped out for kind of a small gain. It's actually smaller than the first trade I made there. And then we got the move that we were looking for. But we don't know what the future is going to be. When I got stopped out here, we've seen plenty of stocks break down from there. The key here is trying to be nimble and putting yourself in a position where, you know what, I'm going to be ready no matter what happens. So by stopping out there, the plan was to say, okay, watch this, see if we can reload this. Now I happen to be doing something else. That's just part of the game, especially when you're trying to do something in a presentation.
It's not like you weren't saying, okay, well, we're all done with this one. We're like, no, we're just going to, set our stop. We're going to take profits on that way up. And if it comes back in, we'll just reload. That was more or less the plan that we were talking about.
And I'll tell you something else. Like, you just have that feeling sometimes, right? Like sometimes like a stock will it'll clear out a level, whether it's the downside or the upside, it'll clear out a level and you just kind of watch it trade and you're like, I think the juice is gone here. I'm not sure that there's anything left here. And then there are other stocks where you're like, oh no, this might be all over the place, but this ain't done. Omega has that feel here today.
Zim with a pop right now. It's just moved above VWAP. I don't know if it's just going to sustain it. The volume's not too great, but we'll see. I'm still on Zim, so I'm just kind of
I don't blame you.
I'm just waiting to see what happens with that, but I'm thinking I'm going to probably do a trailing stop at some point, just because with how much this is run, it could do a rug pull at some point. There could be some retracement, and I just would want to take my gains where I got them and then I'll reload later.
Well, see, that's exactly it. Factor that into your trade plan, right? Factor the volatility of the asset that you're trading into your trade plan and use that in your favor instead of against you. OMGA, by the way, real quick here. Oh, looked like that was trying to go and set some new highs, pulling back here now. We'll see what happens when this gets to the VWAP.
Yeah, I'm looking at 615 as the next level for it to hit, and then about 675 after that. There's we topped out today at 645. I would look to see that get obliterated. I don't think there's a lot of strength up there to knock it back down.
Obliterated. Great usage there. Real quick here. Easy Mike telling Becca, haha, we trade Forex at 4:30 a.m. So I'm almost out of steam. Okay, I got a question for you.
Mike's a beast.
He is a beast because I've tried this. I've tried waking up for the 4 o'clock open. I'll never forget the first time I did that and my broker wouldn't let me trade. I was pissed because I was already like 2 cups of coffee deep. There was no chance of me going back to bed. So if you can wake up at 4:30 consistently and actually be sharp enough to trade, you already have my respect here. Easy Mike, this is what I got to. Does it get harder in the winter when you wake up and you look outside and it's pitch black, like it's the middle of the night and it's cold? Do you ever just want to go back to bed and say, F it, I'm not going to do it here today? That's my question for you, because that happens to me all the time. But I still get up and do what I need to do.
Yeah, about that time, I'm deep in my REM cycle. Well, Zim over 13 now, and back down and over again. We're getting a fight in Zim. I love it. I think we're going to probably retest that previous high we put in at 1344. I
think you're right. Maybe we consolidate on the way back up there, but I think those highs are probably going to get retested today.
What else do we got going on?
Jeff Brands, JFBR milked from 4 a.m. I don't think I know what you mean by that. Let's see. Basically, we popped, we made a double tap, and we just kind of bled. We really haven't got anything back there.
Yeah, but Omega is holding above VWAP. I think we're going to back test it, and then we'll probably try another. It'll give it another shot to try to hit that 615 level I was talking about. So let's watch and see.
We'll see if that comes back in here. Micro strategy up big. Great trade there, Easy Mike. Crow sold Boyle too early. Hey, look, if you didn't take a huge loss on it, you didn't sell it too early. That stuff is, like we said all the time, that is the Widowmaker. Let me bring that up here in Pro real quick.
It is the Widowmaker.
It is the Widowmaker, dude.
Did you happen to catch anything that any conversation that we had in the Happy Hour channel about PayPal
this morning?
All week?
No, I haven't.
So we've been talking about PayPal, and this is, this works for trade ideas too. We've been anticipating that there could be a technical move where it bounces off the 50-day SMA. It's doing that today. And then we could end up coming back up into the 60s and possibly higher. We're looking at an inverse head and shoulders pattern that formed on the daily. And Kari and I are thinking that there's a technical play here. So that's something to watch if you want.
So is this your head and shoulders right here? This is your left shoulder, your head, and your right shoulder. Am I getting that right?
We're forming the right shoulder right now.
Yep.
And if we get that successful bounce off of the 50, which so far is working, and up through the 20 and back to the neckline that we have, which is right about where the 200-day is, then that looks like it's going to be, a pretty successful pattern resolution.
There you go. So here's your shoulder, head, shoulder. Yeah, no, you're right. In fact, I'm actually going to draw that neckline on here.
And here's the other side, because we've been having a bull bear conversation with this one. The other thing is that this is a buy now, pay later stock, and what that means is that it's got products where you can make installment payments after you do the purchase. I know it sounds like a credit card. I don't really know why we're talking credit cards and buy now, pay later as two different things. It's essentially the same to me. But this is one of those stocks, and I think that it's not going to do well depending on what the banks report starting next week. So I would pay attention to that, because if they see signs of a weakening consumer, then I think the buy now, pay later stocks might take a big hit. And that's just what I'm seeing. It looks like Omega is trying again.
I was literally going to go there, but you were too quick. It looks like this came right back into the VWAP. We bounced, got a hammer on this 3-minute chart, going higher here. Next spot of note here going to be 6,601. 6, excuse me. That is going to be your high of day. There's still some size there, but we might blitz right through that.
Mm-hmm.
Crow, totally agree, man. Lots of moves are coming later in the day. This is one of the things that we have been saying. Power Hour has been solid this week, and that may continue here. 13, another rejection here on OMGA as this comes back into the VWAP. This thing volatile.
Yep.
You guys are saying Teva is still moving. Took a look at that yesterday briefly. Teva, wow, nice move here.
Bitcoin had a good move over 44K.
Sure did.
Coming back in a bit here, but I like the move up. I'm still looking. Let me bring up
TGTX here real quick. If we reclaim VWAP, maybe we make another test at those highs here. How are some of those Bitcoin stocks doing?
Pretty well.
Yeah, MicroStrategy, we took a look at that one earlier. That's a monster. Mara looks really good here. How about Coin?
Coin, Riot, Can.
Yeah, these are all having good days here.
What else? Oh, Pow's doing good too.
Is it?
All right. It's doing all right. It's up to about 2%.
Yeah, it's recently that's sold off a couple of days here. Crow bringing LBPH back to the table here. First of all, the 3-minute chart here, this actually just reclaimed the VWAP. Decent candle here. Crow, you were saying that the hourly, let me pull this up here. The 1-hour chart on LBPH looks interesting. This is where it is. It's definitely looking like a flag here, right? We had this huge move up, and we're really doing a good job holding this. To me, Crow, I think as long as we don't lose, what is this, 2150? Let's just call it 2150. Yeah. As long as we don't lose this, we're in good shape here. Maybe this does make a move towards the highs. You have a price target on this, Crow? Just out of curiosity? You might not, and that's okay.
What was the catalyst that got this whole thing started?
It was a PR from earlier this week. Let me get the exact one, because there's been a lot of biotech PRs, and the last thing that I want to do here is screw that one up or mix it up with another stock.
Looks like they also did it. Okay, so I see why it came in a bit. They had an
offering. Yeah, they did an offering right after it. It was the here we go. Longboard Pharmaceuticals announced Monday it would host a call to discuss the top-line data from its Pacific study, a phase 1b/2a clinical trial for, I'm not going to pronounce that, in participants with developmental epileptic encephalopathies. There we go. So it had a big PR here on Monday, did an offering after that. Now that that's out of the way, let's see where we go here.
Well, there's also...
Okay, Crow,
there's other offering too.
Don't have a price target, but looking for 10 to 15% scalps. That helps us with the execution of what you're looking at here. Much appreciated, Crow.
Yeah, I see that there was a 150 million public offering on the 2nd, and there's another one on for 210 million this morning. That's interesting.
Yeah, and it's holding in here and looking like it's trying to go higher, which is what's interesting. Kevin, good call here. Apple breaking beneath that 181 level. Let's see where Apple goes here. I got the low of the day at 180.88. A lot of eights in there.
I've been seeing some reports coming out about how there's a lot more shorting happening in Apple. They're looking at the China headwinds, the lack of innovation. Like, okay, headsets is the latest thing they've come out with. Who else has headsets? Well, Meta's been doing it for a while. So has other companies.
Successfully too, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's their competition is kind of not making them look as attractive, and they need to come up with a product that, is more appealing, in my opinion.
Crow saying 13. That's why I'm confused as to why it didn't dump hard.
Lots of people in it, I believe. So I think it's going to be one of those slow dumps. And we still haven't hit the 200-day SMA. That seems like it's going to be a very important level when we get to there.
Things have kind of slowed down here on my end.
Omega
Let's
might be moving. Again, it still hasn't broken down beneath VWAP, and we still can't seem to get above 6.
SMFL. Remember after this breakdown, this looks like maybe this is firming up here on SMFL. Let's see if it can get above this 204 level, close the VWAP gap there to 218 on Smart for Life, ticker SMFL. Not in this.
Yeah, seems like there's some participation leaving the market. I think Omega is considering whether it wants to be done or not.
I feel like it's flagging right in here, isn't it?
The fact that it's above VWAP is still encouraging. Yeah. It's just the volume seems to slightly be dropping off. But that can always come back.
Yeah, but I was going to say the last time that it dropped off, we got a huge spike and took us to through the VWAP and to the top end of the range there. 644, your pre-market high here. So we've got some room if this really starts to get juiced. Basim, nice to see you again. Asking, and Joe, let's give a two-folded opinion on this one. Of course, if we have to interrupt with a trade, we will do so. Question, Amazon is consolidating around this level. Do you think it's going to go up or do you think it's going to go down? Okay, well, let's take a look at the chart here and see what the chart tells us. So, you know what? I'm actually going to flip, just because we're going to take a look at a daily chart. Let me go to one of my bigger charts here real quick, and then we'll flip back to the trade the pool here if we're going to make any trades. AMZN. Let's take a look here at our Amazon daily chart. So, first of all, the immediate thing that jumps out at me here is that we bounced clean off this 50-day moving average. Now, the one thing that I will say, if we take a look at the RSI, we're really kind of in no man's land here. We have bounced about 2 points off of this low. It looks like we gapped down here. Did I get that right? Yeah, gapped down here. Maybe we can actually kind of fill this area up to 148. That would, and you know what? Let's tie in another question that we got earlier. Let's take a look at the fib levels on this and see if that tells us anything. We'll go from the low right here, the high right here, and look at that. So we kind of stopped at this 146.78 level. We consolidated around that. So maybe there's some resistance right in here. And if we clear this off, maybe we can fill that gap and then maybe go back to the 20 here. What do you see on this 13?
I do see that gap, and I think that there's a possibility we'll see that gap get filled. We did have a bounce off the 50-day SMA, and now we're trading right back into this consolidation that we had all through December here. Being that this is one of the Mag 7 and it's run so much, I'm inclined to think that, well, it's coming a bit, but I'm inclined to believe that this could continue selling. I want to see this 50 hold up if I'm going to be a bull, and want to see it go higher. But I can't say for sure. This is a tough one. I'm in this one. I did my buying. Well, I've been in this one for a while, but I added back in October when we were sinking down. So I 126 still looks like a level we could end up coming back to for a support test. I can't say when that would be, But right now, the 50 is the one that I'd be relying on to take us back up to the 20-day SMA and then go higher.
Okay. So there we go. Basim, let me know if that's helpful for you. We never really know which way it's going, but we will try and make an educated decision based off what the chart is telling us. Let me know if that was helpful for you.
Omega back down to VWAP. Close to it.
Pull that back up here. Like I said, I think that's just kind of consolidating in here.
Still holding about 44K in Bitcoin.
GTX still doing well.
Zim is still moving into 13 more.
Omega trying.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and here are we getting volume flow? Yes, we are. Crow saying some Jehovah Witnesses on my street. Maybe they know where Natty's going. I tell you what, if they ring your doorbell, ask them. Ask them about natural gas. Ask them about Amazon. And what else LBPH and Omega. If you could get us answers on that, that would be great. MINM trying to bounce off another low print here. We'll see if we get anything on that.
Good call on Longbore Pharmaceuticals. That one's moving up pretty nicely now.
Let's take the LBPH. That was a move through the VWAP there. It's doing a decent job holding.
It looks like this. I mean, if the volume comes in, this one could break those highs it was making in pre-market and at the open. Yeah, we just need some more volume. So it looks like it's really kind of spready and a bit thin in this one. So what is the float on this one? Is it
let me get that for you here. I actually had it pulled up in a different window. I got the float here at 14.2 mil. By the way, Tesla new highs here. Tesla new highs.
So it's not going to be one of those that gets absolutely pushed around that has less than a million float.
Nope.
Not like gosh, what was that one that we're trading one already? I think is it MINM or is that the
MINM is pretty thin. I don't know if that's the one you're referring to. Eli Lilly new all-time highs, right? Did we get that earlier? Yeah, 630. Yeah.
I absolutely love this movement in Omega.
I feel like it's like coiling its energy, and whichever direction it's going to pop might be a ferocious one.
One thing I saw that was interesting yesterday with Nexi.
There it goes. Well, really quickly. Sorry, Omega through that 580 level right here. So let's see if this. We stopped at 6 last time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when it went back to VWAP, I picked up a little bit. I just sold a tiny bit. It really does look pretty good. There was somebody. Okay, so let's see here. There's another stock that we were talking about. And, oh, here we go. Now we're really trying for 6.
Now we're going. Yeah, God, I'm tempted to buy this break, but I just don't want to, given what I've seen here. Should have been buying the pulls of the consolidation levels. You can see how wild this one is just by watching the action here. We're basically hanging out between 580 and 6, and we're just jostling around. Here we are at 6. There it goes. Big pop through 6. Let's see if we drop. They brought in size there to try to support it. That got eaten.
Oh, here we go.
Here we
go.
Right,
got my 615.
Wild, guys.
So there's my 615 level. I have no position anymore.
Nice trade.
Thank you.
Nice trade.
Yeah, so set those levels before you start trading. They really help. They tell you where the demand and supply zones are. If you get it starts going down to the demand, then not 100%, but you have more of a reason to start getting in there than you do when it's hitting the supply zones. So it's just all about how you want to manage your risk.
That pop kind of slowing down now here. Oh, yeah,
Zim is now above 13. Zim now above 1320. This thing's going to touch 1344. It looks like. LBPH. Slight pullback. This is the spready one. So that's one to be careful with. But it's still moving pretty good. Too bad MINM is not getting that movement that we were looking for. But this could be one of those ones that just consolidates for a while, and then it just has that spike
after that afternoon or power hour top that we were talking about. Yeah.
So I would say this: if we see a consolidation in this area that it's in right now between 4 and 460, 450, then that could be a good candidate, because the 65 EMA is coming right up there to help with the support. So if we get that consolidation, that could be something to keep on your radar if you're trading throughout the day.
Omega came back in through 6 here. 1 hour loop saying took an option, got a pretty penny from that pop. Was that the 8 or the 750 call? Because the OMGA does have options. We noticed that earlier. Was that? Yeah, that had to be that 750 call, right? That thing's up 1,900% today.
I am not great with options by any stretch of the imagination.
No,
so
not a lot of value in that either. Oh, that's in the February contract, though. Let me look at the January contract. Much, much more volume in that January contract. 80 cent ask here on that 750 call.
Omega is going to try. It's still above 6, and it's got some support at about 530. I'm sorry, 593. Waiting to see if we can make new highs in Omega. I think at this point, I'm just going to scalp.
Smoke Tuna mentioning Pole. We've seen that one recently. That's been a monster for us here. A number of people trading Pole. This selling off here. Tuna saying that we might be at a bounce spot here. I'd be looking for this 750 area. Currently at 763, so real close there. Good call, Tuna. Good call. Keeping your eye on something that's not in favor right away. That's how you're going to get the best price on a lot of those.
Oh yeah. Keep your eye on those multi-day runners.
Yep, and Lynn and Randy, of course, knocking Tesla out of the park here. You love to see it.
They're always good at trading that.
Yeah, they are. Just looking at this chart 13, this is exactly what we were just talking about. It just looks like it's kind of holding in here and compressing. And at some point, we're going to get that volume to expand. And it's either going to drive us higher, perhaps over the intraday highs here, or we're going to break down. Well, keep this one on your radar, even if you don't trade it.
Yeah, I don't think the move of the day is in for this one yet. I mean, we just saw Nexi go, what, 200%, 300% yesterday. Yep. So, this could be the next Nexi.
Let's see. So I'm looking at the short interest here on Omega. We got 5.5 days to cover and 7.6% of the float shorted. That's the most recent print as of the end of December for Omega. So maybe if we get some more shorts to pile in here, this could drive higher here. So remember, 644 are going to be your intraday high on Omega. Let me flip back to that because we're trading back up. 644, that intraday high. We'll see if that breaks down here. Omega trying to retake 6.
So it looks like Longboard is coming back to VWAP. You might get a VWAP bounce. Keep that on your radar if you're playing that one. Because
that level's already been in play once today.
Yes. Well, it's been absolute resistance for most of the day, it looks like. And now we're testing it as support. So we'll see if that holds up or not. It's just very, very, be very careful with this one.
Yeah,
it's very spready. Oh, Mike, talking about the chips, SMH.
Yep.
Yeah, that one absolutely got. I think all the semis were doing pretty bad yesterday. How are they doing today? I haven't looked.
They're about even here.
Okay.
Spotify is a nice move here. I use Spotify myself. Full disclosure.
Okay, I think Zim's about to try to make a break for the 1344 level. It's just been up. I think I'll set a stop. This has been a pretty extended move.
Yeah. Really kind of sold off to yesterday's highs. I know it pierced it a little bit, but that's basically where we bounced from. Yesterday's high print. Nice strategy here, Easy Mike. I'll trim these fat positions into tomorrow's non-farm payroll, taking some of your profit off the table ahead of that binary event just to lock in some of those gains and then reset. Becca saying 13, great call yesterday on Zim.
Oh, thank you. I can't take all the credit. We've been, this show's been talking about Zim for a while with Mitch bringing it up, and that's one of the things that put on my radar, and it just looked good to keep going. Plus, you have those catalysts happening in the Middle East with the Suez Canal and Red Sea, so I felt there was some more gas in the tank there with this one. But I appreciate that. But this was not my original idea.
Easy Mike, he's a Zimmer, but that's okay. Original idea is less important. I mean, being first, I guess, is important. But if we're going through strong thesis and we're picking them up from our peers and we're making money off of that, that is good stuff to me. So
just got to give credit where it's due.
That's right.
Notice that here. I got a new camera, so we shouldn't have problems, but I just noticed I was kind of out of the picture halfway
there. We go. No, it looks good. Looks good.
Bitcoin coming back down to the 44K level. It's losing some of the hundreds it made earlier this morning.
Doing a good job holding in there, though. Just kind of
there's the pull. That's why I set my stop.
On Zim?
Mm-hmm.
There you go. I'll say this, though. We come back in towards the view app here. I'm probably taking this.
Oh, yeah. I would actually, let's see. Let me look at a daily on Zim because we just, we're right at the, well, on this chart, we're at the 200 EMA. So that could be a good potential bounce spot to come back in and reload. I would say maybe this thing could come back into somewhere at or just under 12 Zim. Because if it does, then I'll want to pick up some more. But this has been a good 3-day move that's pretty extended here. The RSI is at like 75. That's
moved off 970. We're up like 4 points almost.
Yeah, so I'm fine with having rid, from 1150 up to that 200 EMA. I'll wait for it to come back in the reload.
Take a look at MI. Ooh, NI in here.
Is it doing things?
Well, it's testing that VWAP. Maybe we try this one too. Let's see. It's testing that VWAP here. I'm going to try some. We'll see if it works. Oh, I didn't get filled. It jumped right above that. I'm going to leave it there and see if it comes back. I'm not going to chase it. Yep, there we go. Okay, filled 300 shares there. Let's see if we can actually bust above. I got some size here at 477.
Yep, I see that there too.
And I'm. It's starting to spread here. I don't want to set a stop until this firms yet because I just don't want to get flushed out. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
See if it breaks that 450 area to the downside.
I'm going to look at the SPY that Jonathan's mentioning to see what we've got here. Okay, what's going on here? I think I might need to reload my layout.
$460 stopping NIM or MINM here. Let's see if we can pop above. Remember, 477's got that size. We'll see if that gets hit here. See if we can go 3 for 3 here on the day.
This SPY double top, is this an intraday double top? I have a daily chart up. I think he might.
Yeah, it actually pierced that first high technically, but came right back under it. 470, some more size. I see some at 472 there. They might be shifting this around. Folks, it's 10:56 here, so we are going to be ending here in just a couple of minutes. 13, I can't thank you enough for jumping on. Special shout out to Aaron Bree earlier. We had to go with Plan Bree earlier this morning. So we just want to thank both of you for jumping on here. Love the discussion here in the stocks. I just will say this, privately, I've gotten some feedback about how great some of the discussions have been here, and we're really looking forward to that. Okay, big pull here on MINM. If this breaks 450, I'm going to have to readjust.
Zim not selling off. It's kind of going sideways right now.
Thanks, Tuna, and thanks for your participation, by the way. Some monster calls from Tuna.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Tuna.
See
Should
if
get some more people on here.
Yeah, we'll try.
Just have some people from the chat come on and talk about what they're looking at.
We've put the offer out quite a bit. We're lucky we've got people like you and Andy that take us up on that. Okay, so 450 is broken here on MINM. Don't have a stop set. Give it some more size down here at 440. It's not looking good here, folks.
As long as it's staying within that range that I mentioned earlier, we should be okay. But that's I think my stop would have to be probably, if I got into this now, it would probably have to be like maybe 370.
Oh, OMGA curling back up here. Something to keep it. Pull up in your own broker here. Let's see. Okay,
looks like the long board is trying to bounce after coming in. Still sideways on Zim. Omega just holding this 575 level area.
Yep, stop set here at 439. Can't let it get out of control here. Definitely want to see if this can bounce. And actually would not be opposed to adding if it did look like it was going to firm, just to kind of get that price better. But we're gonna be 458 here. We're gonna be taking off pretty soon. Let's see if we get stopped out here. That Omega curl that we were just talking about, that was really short-lived. We'll see if that starts to rematerialize.
You green today?
Yes.
Hell yes.
In the swings and the day trades.
Nice.
And actually, I've put a stop in here on MINM, so I can't go red if this just kind of falls out of bed here. So decent day. Nothing huge, but decent.
Yeah, and that, folks, is how you protect your capital.
Yep. Jay Rice, this is an interesting comment here. I appreciate this. We'll mention this here before we sign off. It's a bit different the last 2 days. There's been dip buying. Names listed here: Intel, INTC, Abercrombie & Fitch, ticker ANF there. Goes on to say they're even buying the dip in eggs. Calm, of course, reported earnings yesterday, sunk on lower egg prices. Was 50 last night. That's getting bought up here. So I'll say this, Jay. Is that bullish for you? Does that help you buy or stay in positions more? What's your thought there?
Is that the expectation that egg prices are going higher? Because that's not great for inflation.
Nope.
Oh gosh, no, it's not happening. I was just like, okay, is Zim going to try to break here? But it's just still going sideways. We've got a new candle forming here in a second. What do we got? Omega back at VWAP here. Yeah. Okay, folks, it is 11, so we're going to get rolling here. 13. I can't thank you enough for jumping on here. I will just say I will extend the invitation to tomorrow as well. If you're available at any point, so just let me know. I'll be happy to get that over to you. I'll try to get Andy back too. And like I said earlier at the beginning of this program, folks, I will try and find out more information on what the situation with Mitch is, and we'll let you know what that is as soon as I have it. Jay, just to answer the question here, my thought is we were down pretty hard for 3 days, so easy pullback, probably over for now. So I think it sounds like what you're saying there. You might be in a little bit of a short-term kind of a bullish mode here. We'll see if that materializes. Appreciate that, Jay. That's going to do it for us. 13. Thank you, man. Thank you, my man. Great to see everybody here. Yep, agreed. Stay green. I'll see you on the happy hour. Folks, I hope to see all of you on the happy hour eventually. Remember, don't forget Benzinga Pro newswire that brings you lightning fast news. Trade the Pool, our sponsor let me go full screen here. Trade the Pool, our sponsor for this stream here. Get yourself some buying power if you're struggling with that. We are still bouncing here in MINM, so I'm still in. Take care. We will see you tomorrow, folks.